Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have as our presiding official this evening the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General James F. Amos.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We had hoped for a sellout crowd, and it's clear to me that we are not to be disappointed tonight. Thank you for coming tonight. Secretary Mavis, his wife Lynn, thank you for being here, sir. Our 75th Secretary of the Navy, I had the privilege of introducing you today when we inducted Sergeant Dakota Myers into the Pentagon Hall of Heroes. So, sir, thank you for being a part of this today. Pete Corelli, thank you for being here, brother. Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, a good friend of the Marine Corps. He's commanded Marines in Iraq, and he's a personal good friend of mine. So, Pete, thank you for being here, and thank you for being brothers in arms. I appreciate that. We have a host of Medal of Honor recipients. They're right over here. They have been with us for the last 2 days. Men, thank you for honoring Dakota. Thank you for your faithfulness for these years and for sustaining that unique brotherhood that comes from those few remaining Americans that we have alive that wear that Medal of Honor. Thank you for being here. And for my fellow general officers and flag officers, both active duty and retired, our soldiers, our brothers from the other services, our sisters, thank you for being here. Today we talked in really the Pentagon Auditorium only because the Hall of Heroes was too small. We couldn't fit everybody in there that wanted to come for the ceremony to unveil Sergeant Dakota Myers' name on the wall of the Hall of Heroes. Secretary Mavis talked at length as he described the actions that took place in the early morning hours and lasted well past noon that ended up bringing Dakota Myers to Marine Barracks, Washington tonight. The last 2 days have been almost magic. Magic is almost, it sounds too shallow a term. But yesterday we went to the White House. And there's a big portion of Dakota's family here. His dad, his grandmother, Meemaw, his grandfather, Peepaw, his daddy, Big Mike, his cousins, his high school Panos, friends served with him in 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines, Marines that have known him for his entire time he was on active duty and that have been good friends of his high school counselor that kind of got him through high school, much like probably our high school counselors that managed to get guys like Denny Halick and Jim Amos mystically through high school. They came. And we were at the White House yesterday, and we knew it was going to be special. I mean, anytime you go to the White House, it's unique. None of us go there routinely. So when we go, there's high expectations. But I will tell you that even though we knew the president was going to award and drape that medal around Dakota Myers' neck, even though we knew he was more than likely going to spend some time talking about that action on that morning, that autumn morning, none of us expected to have the feeling that we had yesterday at the White House. When the president was done and Dakota turned about 45 degrees to the right, and the president came up behind him and draped that medal around his neck, it took our breath away. I've been in the Marine Corps. I've been privileged to serve and wear this uniform for 4 decades. And where I've been to the ceremony for Staff Sergeant Gunta when he was awarded, United States Army, awarded the Medal of Honor, and where I was privileged to go to the posthumous Medal of Honor ceremony for Jason Dunham, United States Marine Corps. In 4 decades, I have never been privileged enough to attend a living United States Marine Corps Medal of Honor induction ceremony. I don't think any of us in there, with the exception of our Medal of Honor recipients that were with us, had ever been to one either. It was unbelievable, speaks almost in shallow terms. We came out of there, we had the ceremony today, and as we were planning this event, the last couple of months, we knew we wanted it to end at a capstone event. We knew we wanted Sergeant Dakota Myers, United States Marine Corps, and his family to get a sense of appreciation from a grateful nation, and a grateful Marine Corps, and a grateful fellow servicemen and women and families. And we knew we also wanted these young Marines behind me, most of whom are probably 19 and 20 years old, all of them, for the most part, in the two companies, are young infantrymen, fresh out of the School of Infantry. Maybe they've been here for the summer, but they're itching to go to the fight. And we knew we wanted to give them an opportunity to look at a fellow Marine and say, I want to be just like him. I may be at Marine Barracks, Washington right now, but someday I want to be as faithful and I want to live to the standard that Sergeant Dakota Myers has set for me. So when we built the plan this week, we wanted to end at Marine Barracks, Washington. Now the parade season here at the barracks ended about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And it has been a wonderful summer. But we cranked it back up again for you and for the Marines out here. We cranked it up for the Marines that drove up from Camp Lejeune to see you tonight, Dakota. We've got men and women here, Marines, that are deploying to Afghanistan imminently. And they came up. We've got Marines from Quantico. We've got brand spanking new second lieutenants from the basic school at Quantico. We've got Marines from Henderson Hall. General Halleck brought Marines from Mar Fort Lant in Norfolk. And we came to honor you, my friend. This is your evening. But selfishly, it's our evening. It's our evening for those of us that wear this uniform, for those of us that have worn this uniform and take great pride in the rich legacy and heritage of our United States Marine Corps. Marines, you have done us proud tonight. Marines of Company A and Company B and the band and the Commandant Zone and the staff, thank you for honoring our fellow United States Marine. As you talk to Dakota, and I've had an opportunity for the last week to spend some prime quality time with him, the kind of time that doesn't happen when someone visits your office, the kind of time that happens only when you're together relaxing. And the single adjective that I can describe this young Marine is humility. He is a humble young man. He bristles at anybody that calls him a hero. It's not false. He thinks of those those three Marines and that young corpsman, the doc, who he found on his 5th trip into that fire sack. He thinks of them. He doesn't call himself a hero. He was with his fellow teammates, and they went in 5 times under hellacious fire. He made the comment in his interview, you probably saw it on TV. He said, it wasn't a function of did I think I was going to die. I knew I was going to die. Now you think about that. You think about the fact that you looked at your fellow Marines going in on your 5th trip, and you said words to the effect, "We'll all die together, but we're going to try to bring them back." Ladies and gentlemen, our motto is Semper Fidelis. You know that. Those of you that know us, those of you that are Marines, it means always faithful. That last word, fidelity, means faithful almost to a fault. And Dakota, that's what you were. You were faithful to those Marines that you brought out. You were faithful to those Afghan soldiers who are alive today because you and your team decided that you were willing to sacrifice your lives. Not if, but you were willing to sacrifice your lives. I made the comment today, I said, what kind of a man would do this? To sacrifice his life for men whose language he did not speak, for men whose names he more than likely did not even know, and men who came from a country that is not his own. And yet there are at least 30 or so Afghan soldiers that are alive today because Sergeant Dakota Myers and the team that he so valiantly inspired jumped in those vehicles and went into the fire sack 5 times. The last time he brought back the bodies of our 4 fallen Americans. Those moms and dads and those wives of those 3 Marines and that 1 corpsman will be grateful to the day they die for the courage and fidelity of this young corporal, now Sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. So Dakota, tonight is for you. It's not a performance like a Hollywood performance. It's a performance that's heartfelt. It's a performance that every Marine back here in this formation, every one of us that drove up from Norfolk and Camp Lejeune, every one of us that live in the Washington, D.C. area in Quantico, all our friends of Marines, retired Marines, and our friends of our Corps have come to honor you. My friend, you have made us proud. Your parents have done well in raising you. God bless you, my friend, in the rest of your life. Semper Fidelis.